In seventh best batting average in the American League at 269, and Brian Roberts leads things off. Roberts hitting 287 with 6 home runs and 29 RBIs. This guy is a doubles machine.
He's a nice player. For a long time it sounded like he was headed to the Cubs, that they were going to get him over there to solve their second base problems, but I guess they were never able to work out a deal. But he's a switch hitter. He's the son of a baseball coach and is a very good player.
2-1 the count to him, and he also just signed a 4-year $40 million contract extension during the offseason. So it looks like he's going to be at Baltimore for a little while longer.
Well, he's a switch hitter. He can run. He can play defense, and said he's a good player. His father was coach in North Carolina, so he grew up with baseball.
Yeah, he's no longer the coach of the Tar Heels, who just were knocked out of the College World Series the last couple of days. 2-2 the count to Roberts, and the count holds 2-2. We'll see what Bastardo comes out with tonight. He's throwing his fastball. You saw that one at 93 miles an hour. He'll top off at 94, maybe even 95 miles an hour. But most of his pitches will be in that general area.
Yeah, 92, 93. Or, you know, or in the high 80s.
That one's in the air to left field. Pretty deep, but John Mayberry is there. And Mayberry makes the catch, and there's one away. And yes, there is a little different alignment in the outfield today for the Phillies. Mayberry is in left field, and Jason Worth goes back to his normal position in right field. And obviously the guy in the middle is Shane Victorino.
Number 21 right fielder.
Davey Lopes made a suggestion to Charlie Manuel that he not disrupt 2 positions at one time and keep Jason Worth in a comfort zone, which is right field, and let John Mayberry try to figure things out in left, and they think he will.
And he has played out there too. But they just thought, you know, with a young player like Mayberry, they'd put him in right field where he had been playing for the most part, and figure Worth could adapt to left. We'll see what happens. That's a very good defensive outfield.
Speaking of good defensive outfielders, here's Nick Markakis hitting 293. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Markakis.
That's another guy who's a good player. You talk about a doubles machine.
He has 19, and you see he's reached base safely in 55 of the 66 games he's played this year.
Well, he's a guaranteed high 40s doubles guy almost every year. And you know, they're playing a little bit in obscurity right now, the Orioles, because they haven't been very good for a while.
Well, Dave Tremblay, who's in his 3rd year, 2nd full year with the Baltimore Orioles, he likes these young players. Says that they've added a little bit of juice to the clubhouse. 2-2 the count to him. That's a good fastball from Bastardo.
Well, Wieters and Reimold in their lineup tonight are 2 very good young prospects.
And Bastardo runs the count full 3-2. Markakis also just signed to a long-term deal. And there's another good young hitter in Adam Jones, the on-deck batter for Baltimore.
Oh, I forgot about him. He could be the best of all of them.
Call strike 3. Boy, that's a little paint on the outside corner from Bastardo. 2 away here in the 1st inning. And tell you what, he's coming out and throwing pretty aggressively in this 1st inning.
Throwing strikes. He's throwing a couple sliders, mostly fastballs. And this is a real good pitch, Tom. As you said, paint hit Carlos Ruiz's glove.
2 outs here in the top of the 1st inning, and here is Adam Jones.
Boy, this guy had some kind of BP here. Hope he's thinking it's going to be fun and maybe go 0 for 12 for the weekend, because he was firing him out of here in BP.
Well, he was 1 for 12 in the most recent series against the Mets, and they start him off with an off-speed pitch, and the count is 0-1.
He is a tremendous prospect, but see, he struggled since May 30th.
Former 1st-round selection of the Seattle Mariners, and it's 0-2. Mariners traded him and George Sherrill, who's the Orioles closer, to Baltimore with 3 other pitchers in that Eric Bedard deal. And Bedard really hasn't worked out for Seattle, partly because of injuries, and then the other reason is because of ineffectiveness overall. In the air to right field, it's shallow, and it's playable for Jason Worth. And this is going to be a very easy inning for Antonio Bastardo. It took 16 pitches, but he's retired the Orioles in order. After the top of the 1st, no score, with the Phillies coming up. Stop Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino, the center fielder, bats second. Chase Utley's over at second base hitting third, followed by Ryan Howard, the cleanup batter. Jason Worth is in right field hitting fifth. Pedro Feliz, the third baseman, bats sixth. The number 7 hitter is John Mayberry Jr. He's in left field. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is Antonio Bastardo. Had a very clean top of the first inning. And they are facing left-hander Rich Hill for the Baltimore Orioles.
A guy they know, too. He was with the Chicago Cubs for a number of years. He's had 3 starts against the Phillies. And, he's not a pitcher they have no idea what they're going to see here tonight. Those are the numbers on him, and he was on the disabled list at the start of the season with a balky elbow. Opposition hitting .253. Said the Phillies do know him from the Cubs. Fastball in that range. He has a real big overhand curveball that he likes to use a lot.
Jimmy Rollins leads things off and takes a fastball for a strike. Rich Hill in 2 appearances against the Phillies, 0-2 with a 5.74 ERA in 15 2/3 innings. Phillies had a tremendous amount of success against him here in the one start that he made. He lasted only 5 innings, and they beat him up pretty good. Jimmy lays off the breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Lucky McDonald's home run jackpot contestant is Dick Toner of Bethlehem, PA. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Dick will win $100. Introducing McCafe Coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos. Nice play by that fan down on the front row, just past the tarp. Jimmy is 6 for 28 on this homestand. And he hits one in the air to right center field. Adam Jones on the run, and he makes the grab. A little athleticism there as he reached down to grab that one at his waist. And there's one away. So J-Roll's retired. Saw that foul ball go right past Pete McCannon in the third base coach's box. That is nothing new for Pete to be over the third base coach's box. It's new for the Phillies because Sam Perlazzo is having wrist surgery. In fact, had the surgery today. So Pete, who's the Phillies bench coach, is coaching over third for Sam. Sam at one time was the former manager of the Baltimore Orioles. There is Sam. And a line drive base hit for Victorino. Heading down to the corner. And Shane, of course, can fly. And he's on his way to second base. And he's there with his 17th double of the season. First hit for Victorino and 6 at-bats against Rich Hill. And right out of the gates, the Phillies have a runner in scoring position.
Well, Jimmy Rollins hit the ball fairly hard his first time up, and Jones made a good play. This ball is scalded by Melvin Moore. A line shot down the left field line into the corner. An easy double for Shane Victorino.
So he's on second base. Here's Chase Utley. Chase overall hitting .308 with 15 home runs.
You mentioned Sam Perlazzo managed the Orioles, Tommy, so he comes in handy being on the bench tonight for Charlie Mano. He knows a lot of their players. Victorino has been breaking off second. We've talked about that a couple times in the last few days. They were going to tell him about that. Now in this case, stealing third is not the worst thing in the world if you think you can do it, but you have to make it, obviously.
See where Brian Roberts is playing, the second baseman out in shallow right field, but the shortstop Robert Andino is keeping an eye on Victorino.
Yeah, he has that inside move. That's on the reports from Hill. You got to watch out for that, and you saw him do it. So they're aware of that. And not a 3-man overshift. There's a familiar face looking on. That's Juan Samuel.
Yeah, Juan is the third base coach for the Orioles, former Philly.
Sure, Sammy helps out the defensive alignments.
2-0 the count now to Utley.
We're talking about Victorino. We're faking a break or breaking from second base with a left-handed hitter up there. It's very distracting to them. And they said that they're just going to discuss that maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I talked to Shane today, and he said that it was going to be after batting practice that he was going to talk to Charlie about it. 2-0 the count to Chase. And 3-0.
Yeah, if you're going to go. But with 2 strikes and 2 outs and a left-handed hitter up there, you don't do that because they see it.
Chase had a real good bat in the 9th inning of yesterday's game against the Blue Jays. Worked out a walk, but the Phillies were unable to push a run or two across the plate against Toronto, and they wound up sweeping the Phils out. That one's in there for a strike. Now the umpires for this evening's ball game. Sam Holbrook is the home plate umpire. Dan Iasonia is over at first base. Charlie Relaford is the crew chief. He's at second. And Larry Vanover is around at third. Good hitters count for Chase, who is 9 for 25 on this homestand.
Wow. A wide plate. See him turn around. You know, like, you kidding me? They're 2 in a row like that. You want me to swing at that, huh? Well, yeah, I guess if I call 2 on you, you better if there's another one.
And there is another one. A cue shot to Melvin Mora. And Chase is just barely thrown out at first, and there are 2 outs.
And that's what happens. You know, when you do that, then now all of a sudden he's going to swing at another pitch. That pitch is out of the strike zone. But, you know, you're not going to stand there because you're going to call it again. Here you go. And, you know, they may as well just stay out there again. That's not a strike. But you see Chase Utley's going to swing at it because it was called a strike. That's a pretty good curveball.
Well, that's Rich Hill's out pitch, is that big breaking curveball. Ryan Howard now the batter. He's riding a 6-game hitting streak. But Ryan, like a lot of the Phillies hitters, has struck out an awful lot on this homestand. In fact, that's one of the issues the Phillies have had during this homestand, is that they have struck out 68 times. And, you know, Charlie talked a lot about that during spring training, about making more contacts.
They have 3 infielders on the right side for Ryan Howard, but not like a lot of National League teams do. Good block there by Wieters. The difference being where the shortstop Andino is playing. There's Wieters, that young catcher they're so high on, has been so much publicized in the minor leagues. Just brought him up recently. Big catcher.
6'5". 3-0 the count to Ryan Howard. So he's fallen behind the last 2 hitters. 3 balls and no strikes. Jason Worth waits on deck. Jason's done pretty well against his former teams this year. Let's see if it continues against the Orioles today. Ryan got the green light, couldn't catch up to a fastball that was upstairs, and it's 3-1. Ryan, for his career, is hitting .364 against the Orioles. He's had good numbers against them.
Yeah, and he was out here taking a lot of extra hitting today early.
Yeah, he was out here early. So was Matt Stairs. A couple other players getting their hacks. And, you know, talked about Ryan striking out a lot lately. That's nothing new to Ryan, and he gets into, you know, streaks like this. But he also gets out of those streaks and gets red hot with the long ball. Lays off, ball gets away from Wieters, and Victorino easily is going to go to third. That'll be a wild pitch after the walk. It's the first wild pitch of the season for Rich Hill, and the Phillies have runners up first and third. During the 2009 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. With 2 down, Jason Worth is the batter. Jason's got his batting average up to .261. 12 home runs and 36 RBIs. A former first-round draft pick by the Baltimore Orioles back in 1997. And he has to do a little dancing on that first pitch. Jason had 3 home runs against the Blue Jays. Played for them at one time. Hits well against the Dodgers. Played for them at one time.
I'm following you. Let's go.
Get the same thing going here. Riding a 5-game hitting streak into this ball game.
It was an excellent progression on your part.
You forget how good of a prospect he was in the Orioles system. He was a number 2 prospect as a catcher.
That was Pat Gillick when he was with Baltimore, signed Jason. Drafted him.
Line drive toward right field, backing up his Markakis. He's not going to get it over his head. A one-hop off the wall. Victorino scores. Pete sending Ryan Howard home. Roberts doesn't realize it. He finally throws to the plate, and Ryan slides in safely. And Jason Worth winds up at third, and the Phillies have a 2-0 lead.
How about that aggressive new third base coach? How about that Pete McCadden? Good piece of hitting, too, by Jason. And Markakis kind of froze on that ball, and then it was over his head before he knew it. Worst 12th double of the year, and he does just what Tom wanted him to do, hit against his former team. The breaking ball, and he scalds it. He ran a bad route there, as you saw, did Markakis. Kind of came in and then back. Then it was too late, and Pete had him coming all the way, had the big boy coming all the way, and Ryan Howard slides across with the bare-handed. Jason Worth all the way to third.
And now Pedro Feliz, the batter, with a runner on third. He takes a hook for a strike. Pedro overall hitting .308. This Ryan, he's got dust everywhere. He even had it on the top of his head.
I think he was a little surprised when he got waved in there.
Chopper back toward the middle. Easy play for Brian Roberts. And the Phillies will settle for 2 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. So a 2-run double by Jason Worth, helped out by some pretty good base running by the big boy Ryan Howard, who's given the Phillies a 2-0 lead. Top of the second inning, and Antonio Pistardo facing Aubrey Huff. And watch this slide by Ryan Howard.
Yeah, well, he sees the catchers to the first base side, and he's leaving home plate open, except for a little bit of that shin guard, so he wasn't going to slide into it. He could just belly flop and put the hand in. Good play.
And since it was so early in the game, that batter's box was still, pretty clean, so he got everything.
Yeah, he got some line on there, everything.
1-2 the count to Aubrey Huff. And that stairs, knocking out a little of the dust from Ryan Howard's whiskers.
Well, that head hit the ground, too.
Yeah, it did. 1-2 the count to Aubrey Huff. In the air to center field. Not that deep. And Pistardo now has retired 4 straight to start this ball game.
He just got an out on a breaking ball, too, which is always a good sign. He threw some breaking balls and a changeup in the first inning and had good control with his fastball.
And with one away, that brings Melvin Moore to the plate. The veteran who is now 37 years old. Wow. Where has the time gone? 7-game hitting streak. He's hitting .367 during that stretch. There was a time, folks, that this guy could just flat out hit the baseball.
He was a Met.
Yeah, he was. He didn't really come into prominence, though, until he went to Baltimore.
Right.
And he loves that ballpark.
Yeah, he was a young player with the Mets. Played shortstop.
And with the Orioles, he not only played the infield, but he also, turned into a pretty good outfielder for some time.
Likes interleague play.
20 home runs, 65 RBIs. The Orioles leader, franchise leader. Pop up first base side that'll find the seats. Moore arrived in Baltimore in 2000, and then it was in 2004 where he exploded. He had 340 with 27 home runs and 104 RBIs.
He's the guy. He and his wife had the quints, right?
Yeah, quintuplets in 2001.
Because I remember seeing them come running to him one night when we were down in Baltimore after one of the games. That was some sight. See all these little kids running at him at the same time.
Can't imagine there was a whole lot of sleep going on in that household.
Oh, wow. Phillies had a 16-inning game that night. The Phillies have had they had a game with them like that here a few years ago too. A real long game with fireworks afterwards.
And that ball hit him right on the arm, and that's the first base runner for the Orioles. The fastball came in at about 91 miles an hour. Hey, Phillies fans, during tonight's Phillies game, don't just watch, play along live online with Greg Murphy and Ricky Vitalico at CSNPhilly.com. Make predictions, answer trivia, chat with friends, and earn points to win great prizes. Play Friday Night Fever right now by logging on to CSNPhilly.com. Keyword Fever.
Bastardo did that in his first game against San Diego. He's what they like to say is effectively wild. Hitters don't like that, especially when they haven't seen a guy. They're not sure what's going on out there. If all of a sudden they're moving their feet, because guys' feet don't get moved a whole lot nowadays. And I don't know whether he tries to do it. You kind of think he's just a little bit wild, but it can be very effective.
Nolan Reimold, the batter, with a runner on first base. And he takes one for a strike. It's 1-1. Jamie Moyer and I were talking about that last week, Wheels. And he said that he thinks it's a huge asset for Bastardo that on the reports it says effectively wild.
That's interesting. Yeah, because, when you watch a game and you see the way hitters are nowadays, they don't move that much.
Line drive over the glove of Rollins into left center field. Victorino cuts it off on the slide. Moore is heading to third. The throw, though, comes to second, and Chase drops the ball. And Reimold is safe at second base with a sliding double. And the Orioles have runners on second and third.
Yeah, Utley's got him if he holds on to that. He tried to catch it and turn and tag in the same motion and never caught the baseball.
Well, good play by Victorino to cut that off and then get the throw in cleanly. Moore thought about going home from third.
Yeah, here you go. We're talking about what a good defensive outfield this is. And there's the hop, and it's a good hop for Chase. He knew he had a long way to go to get back after he would catch it, so he's kind of trying to hurry and never caught it.
Fourth double of the year for Reimold, and the Phillies play the infield back for Wieters. And the first pitch is low. A nice play by Ruiz. It's 1-0.
Well, they talked about that Reimold. The ball jumps off his bat. That was a P.
And they called him up after he was hitting .394 at AAA.
Boy, that's a tall catcher.
6'5", an inch taller than Joe Mauer from the Minnesota Twins. And he smokes that one to the gap in left center field. And this ball game is going to be tied at 2 apiece. It's going to be an RBI double, a 2-run double for Wieters as he pulls it to second base. In Baltimore now with 3 straight base runners, back-to-back doubles.
Well, remember we talked about the scouting on the keys of the game. It could have a slugfest here tonight because these guys, they got some really good-looking young players. We just saw 2 of them, Reimold and Wieters, and they hit 2 rockets off fastballs. Here's Wieters, got a fastball out over the plate, and he scalds this thing to left center field. So, like I said, you didn't want to see him hit that batter because you don't know what's going to happen with Bastardo. But it can be a good thing if you can get some people out afterwards.
Rich Doobie with a quick trip to the mound, an early trip to the mound. The conversation wasn't quick.
Well, it may be. We got to throw something else here, guys. Once in a while.
Get them off the fastball.
Well, you keep throwing fastballs. The big league hitters, especially right-handed hitters, you can't throw it hard enough to major league hitters if you throw it down the middle.
So 2-2 here in the top of the second. Runner on second base.
And Bastardo has a good fastball, but he's not an overpowering fastball pitcher. And he throws a high fastball a lot of times, and that's what they crush.
Here's Robert Andino, a guy they got from the Florida Marlins. back at the beginning of April for Hayden Penn. And Bastardo misses outside 1-0.
Well, he's Torres. I saw he's Torres is their regular shortstop. He had an appendectomy, I think, and he's out on the disabled list right now. So Andino's been filling in. They say he's done a good job for them.
Yeah, he's hitting 7 of 10, and during that time he's hitting .303.
Yeah, we saw him in a few games with the Marlins.
Bouncer toward the middle. Jimmy has it to his left. Wieters goes over to third. And that's the second out of the inning.
That was either, well, I don't think he throws a cutter, so that had to be a slider. And it was a good one because he really got it on his hands. That's probably one of the things that Rich Doobie was talking to him, to him and Carlos about when he went out there, is we got to mix them up a little bit. Especially these American League teams, boy, they want to hit some fastballs.
Well, this Phillies starting staff has no doubt struggled this year, but in particular on this homestand. They've only had one guy get into the 7th inning of a start. That was Joe Blanton in that Friday night start against the Boston Red Sox. So the staff is a little shell-shocked right now.
Well, as a result, there's Joe. As a result, that bullpen is weary.
Hill 13 hits in his career and 108 at bats. And he's down in the count, no balls at 2 strikes. For 2 this season. And he lines one to left center field, a base hit. And the Orioles take the lead. An RBI single for Rich Hill. His first hit of the year. His teammates like it. And Antonio Bastardo, though, not all that happy about it.
Well, a breaking ball he hit too, and he just kind of dove into it and lined it to center field. 14th career major league hit, as he had a lot of at bats. Yeah, it was a breaking ball and it was right down the middle, and he just kind of, you saw what he did there. He just leaned into it. Base hit.
And back to the top of the order now for Brian Roberts, who flied out to left his first time up. And the count is 0-1. Play Roberts to pull a little bit in the outfield.
And they don't have to hold Rich Hill on, of course. Just play off him at first base and take some of that away.
0-2 the count to Roberts.
Got to throw that changeup once in a while, the way he did there, and not throw everything hard.
On the outside corner, called strike 3. Pretty good pitch right there by Bastardo as he rings up Brian Roberts. But the Orioles scored 3 runs on 3 base hits. They strand 1, and they've got the lead. July 20th at 7:05. It's a 3-game series. It wraps up on the 22nd at 1:05. with a Citizens Bank Business Person Special and a Modell Sporting Goods Kids Run the Bases. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. And the Phillies might be happy to get back into National League play, and they'll do that against the Atlanta Braves after the next series against the Blue Jays. Antonio Bastardo, he retired the first 4 batters that he faced, and Rich Doobie talking to him emphatically in between innings, and I'm not sure about what, Wheels.
No, I'm not either. You know, we better just ask Doobs later, but he was delivering a pretty good message right there.
It looked like it was pretty stern.
Well, you know, who knows what the game plan was when they went out there, and maybe they deviated from it, and he just wanted to remind them.
Well, the Orioles scored 3 runs in the second inning on 3 hits, 2 doubles. And now John Mayberry will lead things off in the bottom of the second inning.
You just cannot stand out there and pump fastballs in the big leagues, especially if you have a straight fastball that's you know, in the low 90s.
John hit a home run yesterday on a breaking pitch. And he got a breaking pitch there, and he swung through it, so the count 0-2.
He got a big slow hook yesterday that he hit out of the ballpark. He's going to get a chance to play some now against left-handed pitching. Greg Dobbs will play against right-handers. At least that's the master plan right now.
And he's down on strikes as he takes that one looking. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Braves lead the Red Sox 2-0. Nate McLouth hit his 12th home run. Boston is 23-9 at home, and that is the best record in the majors of any home team. The Phillies, who are 13-19 here at home, that's not the worst record in the major leagues at home. But you don't want to have the worst record, because usually that means you're in the basement. And the Washington Nationals, who are 10-22, well, they are in the basement.
Yeah, because they have a pretty bad road record too. Although I bet them beating the Yankees 2 out of 3.
Ruiz the opposite way. He's got a base hit. Third base hit of the series, or homestead, I should say, for Carlos.
They had to wait, what, 5.5, 6 hours to start that game yesterday.
Major league record for a rain delay to start a ball game.
Was it?
That's what somebody said. That's one of the papers said.
Well, it had to have a shot.
Antonio Bastardo 0 for 4.
They were kidding around that they had 3 meals before the game started. The guys that came out early for breakfast.
Bastardo up there to sacrifice with 1 out. And he bunts that one in the air, and Aubrey Huff will cut right in front of Rich Hill, and he nearly caught Hill's glove too. And now with 2 away, back to the top of the order. Hill will get his glove back and the baseball.
Yeah, here we go. Here's a look at it. Bat up in the air, pointed towards the sky. It was very tough to get that on the ground. And as Aubrey Huff went by, as Tom said, he took Rich Hill's glove off. Bastardo went back to get the bat. You know, like the bat boy will take care of that for him.
That was a little courtesy out of his part.
Very nice.
Back to the top of the order now with a runner on first. Jimmy Rollins, the batter. Jimmy flying out to center his first time up. Carlos does not have a big lead off first.
I figure Hill did that on his own. I didn't think he would get a throw over with Ruiz at first.
Rich Hill was one of those guys that I don't think Lou Piniella took too kindly for as a pitcher. Probably liked him as a person, but some of the press conferences last year and by Lou Piniella after Rich Hill's outings, if you were not a Cubs fan, they were kind of entertaining.
Well, Lou's not a big pitching guy. You know, he liked to hit pitchers. He not particularly liked to manage them, which, of course, is a big part of the job.
See his totals: 20 wins, 18 losses. Jimmy pops it up behind home plate. Leaders off with the mask.
How about the Indians were beating the Cubs 7-0 today and lost in extra innings 8-7. So the Cubs have won 2 games now in their final at bat.
Came in losers of 6 of their last 10. But
in their last 2 games, they won their last at bat.
toss over, and Carlos back standing. And Jimmy's now ahead 3 balls and 1 strike. Mentioned that Jimmy has 6 hits in his last 29 at bats with Victorino waiting on deck, but with that series against the Blue Jays, he had a 3-hit game yesterday and a 2-hit game in the first game of that series.
I don't know why they keep throwing over.
I was wondering the same thing.
You know, I think throwovers are very important a lot of times, but
ball 4 and Jimmy's aboard. Now if they threw over, it would make a little more sense if somebody wasn't on second base. Right. Jimmy obviously has very good speed. So 2 runners on, 2 outs. Matt Wieters out to the mound.
Maybe that's what Lou was talking about. Rich Hill went to the University of Michigan.
Yes, he did. He's a Wolverine.
Maybe that's it.
Oh, you're putting down the whole university, huh?
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Man didn't play football, Wheels.
That was not to put down anything other than
he may not even know Lloyd Carr,
Gary
Moeller.
That's right.
Bo Schembechler.
I would think he probably did.
He might have known them.
Yeah.
Want to know the count to Victorino?
This guy's a great prospect at one time.
It's probably that breaking ball. Yeah, that curveball is pretty good when he throws it for strikes.
It's a really good curveball. I guess he probably just has to use his fastball a little bit more effectively, like most pitchers.
Shane now with 10 hits on this homestand, ahead in the count 2-0. And he takes one for a strike. Belt high. It's 2-1.
Well, he'd probably like to have that pitch to hit again.
He's done a nice job with runners in scoring position from mostly the number 2 spot, sometimes in that number 6 spot. And he's got Carlos Ruiz in scoring position here. Line drive, foul.
Ooh. That's what Shane did his first time up, only kept one fair.
Ball went whizzing right past that young man's glove.
Yeah, he's describing what happened.
Thank goodness it went over his shoulder. Yeah. That ball was hit pretty hard.
Well, he was diving that time.
He sure was.
Man.
88-mile-an-hour fastball that spins Victorino around. So now the runners will be off with the count 3-2.
He was diving into that pitch, and he almost watch Victorino go swan dive here, and now he's got to get out of the way. Boy, that was nasty.
Runners go. 3-2. Popped up. Melvin Mora makes the call over at third base. And the Phillies strand 2 here in the bottom of the second inning. So Rich Hill, thanks to that pop up by Victorino, works out of a jam here in the home second. We head to the third. 3-2 Baltimore. And please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, who is the only player in Major League history to reach double figures in doubles, triples, home runs, and stolen bases in each of his first 4 Major League seasons? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. John DeSangro has thrown you a carrot today, Wheels. A cookie. A chocolate chip cookie.
I think I know that, huh?
Yeah. You were nodding yes before I even finished the question.
Well, yeah. We'll see if I know it. But I may have visited with that guy tonight.
You very well could have. Nick Markakis struck out his first time up. A bouncer right side. Good play by Chase. 2 pitches, 1 set aside here in the top of the 3rd. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets have taken a 3-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays and Andy Sonnenstein. Brian Schneider a 3-run home run. Sonnenstein now has allowed 8 home runs in his last 4 starts. These Orioles really helped out the Phillies last night.
Ooh.
As they were down 1 going into the 9th, and they wound up winning against the Mets. And Francisco Rodriguez, who blew a 2nd save in about a week's time.
And that's really the first legitimate blown save for him. You know, you look back to the one he blew against the Yankees. That's when Castillo dropped the pop-up that would end the game.
0-2 the count to Adam Jones, who flied out to right his first time up. Adam Jones had a bases-loaded walk in that 9th inning last night. And he's down on strikes here. That's the 3rd strikeout of the night for Bastardo. As he threw a pretty good fastball there. Back-to-back good fastballs.
Yeah, he got a slider. He got Markakis out on a slider to start the game.
Now the Cincinnati Reds are visiting Philadelphia right after the Mets series. Monday, July 6th, the start of a 4-game series. It wraps up on the 9th with an Independence Blue Cross fireworks display. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Good seats are still available for that week set of games. And the fireworks shows here at the ballpark are always outstanding. Aubrey Huff, the hitter. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Huff is 6 for his last 12. That's what he was in that Mets series in the 3 games. And he hits one in the air to right center field. It's pretty deep. Victorino on the run toward the alley, reaches out, makes the running grab. What a finish by Shane Victorino. A beautiful play by the Phillies Gold Glove center fielder. The fans love it. Bastardo loves it. And it's a 1-2-3 top of the 3rd inning. A little defense for the Phillies and a whole lot of speed by Shane Victorino as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Low phone financing by AT&T, your world delivered. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, It's on. Bottom of the third inning, Phillies trail at 3-2. Chase Utley to lead things off against Rich Hill. He takes a fastball for a strike. Chase grounded out to third his first time up.
Mentioned the first time up, they do not overshift him with 3 players the way a lot of National League teams do, or even some American League teams. See that defense on Chase.
Charlie Relaford, the second base umpire, is where the shortstop normally is against Chase Utley.
Right.
Instead,
we'll see what they do with a right-hander tomorrow night. Sometimes with a left-hander, it's going to stay away. You know, they'll leave the shortstop. Some teams will leave the shortstop in that area. There's Relaford playing where, as Tom said, where the extra infielder usually does, or standing, I should say.
Chase holds. It's 1-2.
See, everything's away from him, and that's their game plan. That all right, we're going to stay away, and he may hit a ball towards the middle of the diamond. We want to have somebody there.
Chase is currently the leading vote getter in all of Major League Baseball for the upcoming All-Star game. That's pretty impressive. I think it's about the company that he's keeping. You know, last year it was A-Rod and Chase who shared the lead in the American and National League. A-Rod and Griffey in 07. Chase pops it up. Melvin Mora comes charging in, but it's Wieters, the catcher, who makes the call. And there's one out. Time now for our Geico quote of the day. It comes from Ryan Howard on Raul Ibanez's absence. It's tough because he means so much for our lineup, and he does so much, not only offensively and defensively. To have him out right now, we just have to suck it up and go out there and get the job done. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And Raul was quoted as saying yesterday that the organization made the right decision. And after he thought about it more, he understands it's the right decision to go on the DL because he doesn't want to blow his tire out and be out in August and September and October. The MRI he had today was, according to reports, clear, and that's a good sign. So hopefully he'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
Well, I sure hope so.
To the count to Ryan.
A little Laredo action there. Yeah. He throws an over the top 12-6 hook, and that time he did a little drop down action.
There's a fastball and a call. Strike 3.
That's after 3 curveballs. Just zip, and really took him by surprise.
So Ryan is retiring for the second out. Hey, Will, some sad news in Philadelphia today. I know you felt this way, and I think all of us did. Gary Papa died at about 3 p.m. Eastern time today at 54 years of age. Gary, a longtime sports anchor at WABC here in Philadelphia. Great guy. He's been battling prostate cancer for five years, and last time I saw Gary was at Harry's memorial service. And boy, I'll tell you, an awful lot of guts being on the air for as long as he was during the battle for prostate cancer. That's at WABC, WPVI, the ABC affiliate.
Yeah, 6 ABC.
Yep, 6 ABC.
Yeah, Gary's a great guy. Friend for a long time, and a real professional and a true warrior after what he went through. I mean, the guy battled it, as you said, for years, and into remission, and then, you know, back with more problems. And every time you'd see Gary, he'd say, "How you doing?" He'd say, "I'm all right. You know, just a little weak," but he didn't want to talk about it. You know, he's, "I'm okay." So we'll miss Gary. He's a terrific guy.
Jason Worth out on strikes, and the Phillies are retired 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the third inning. 4 in a row retired by Rich Hill. Orioles lead it 3-2 as we go to the fourth. Championship with 2 sure-to-be conversation starters, the replica ring paperweight or acrylic cube. Great for displaying at home or in the office. Both items are made using lead-free pewter. Available exclusively through the Phillies. Order at the Majestic Clubhouse store at Citizens Bank Park or call 877-GO-PHILS. That's 877-GO-PHILS. And it's always good to see that World Championship flag, which is hanging out in center field. Gary Matthews joins us here in the top of the 4th inning with the Phillies trailing it 3-2. And Melvin Mora behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. And Sarge, Antonio Bastardo, after somewhat of a tongue lashing by Rich Doobie in between the top of the 2nd and the bottom of the 2nd inning, has kind of settled in a little bit here.
All speed pitch on the outside part of the plate. You can't get away with just throwing fastballs up in this league. Got to be able to mix your pitches up. Doesn't matter whether or not you come from AA, AAA. Once you're here in the major leagues, you are considered a major league player, and you have to play the way major leaguers play.
2-2 the count to Mora, who was hit by a pitch his first time up, and that hit by a pitch is what kind of rattled Bastardo in that 2nd inning.
Yeah, well, he's just trying to almost get back to throwing the ball almost right down the middle. You see the pitch that Rich Hill hit was just a fastball out over the plate.
There's a pop up to right field, right at Jason Worth. And that's 5 in a row now retired by Bastardo. 1 out. And if you're keeping score, that's 9 in your book, or F9. It all depends on which way you like to put it in the book. Well, with Gary Matthews, I'm Tom McCarthy. Gorgeous night for baseball. The Sun, Sarge, have you reintroduced yourself to the Sun?
Haven't seen the Sun about a week.
We're here at Citizens Bank Park. Nolan Reimold, he doubled his first time up. It came around to score. Off the end of the bat, it's a flare to shallow right. Utley calls everybody off. And that's the 2nd out. And the 2 away. You know, Sarge, there's been so much that's been happening. There's been so much that's been happening for this Phillies club on the field. Some miscues. It was interesting. I was talking to Shane Victorino today about the play that John Mayberry Jr. made yesterday on the Scott Rowland double. I said, do you guys, you and Jason Worth, do you talk to John Mayberry about it? And he said, you know what? We knew as soon as it happened that he knew that he needed to hustle after a little bit more and never take anything for granted.
Well, that will never happen again, really, for him. And Rowland is the type of player that would take advantage of a rookie, and knowing that he didn't know his speed, first of all, but Rowland's the type of player that will take advantage, and he did as he got to second base. That was a big play. It
was a big play in yesterday's ball game, and it's interesting to talk to Shane about that because he thought that Rowland would have gone to second anyway if Mayberry even had run after the ball cleanly. He would have challenged the rookie to make that throw.
I don't know about that. I think if he had got there and whirled and act like he was running, I think he would have maybe started and then held up.
He did say he would have reassessed the situation. You're right about that.
But anytime a ball is hit, you got to go over there and catch it and get it back in and not take it for granted.
Green light for Wieters, and it's 3-1. Wieters doubled home 2 runs his first time up. And he pops this one up. Right side. These right side guys have been busy this inning. Utley called off by Worth. And Bastardo has retired the side of order for the 2nd straight inning. He set down 7 straight. Now the Phillies offense will go to work in the bottom of the 4th. Fusion Hybrid, the most fuel-efficient midsize. Drive one today. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Philadelphia Phillies. And by Jeep. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be. Last of the fourth inning here at Citizens Bank Park. Raul, you're still, well, I think it says you're still the man. And feel better. I think everybody hopes that and has that sentiment here in Philadelphia. Raul Ibanez, such a big part of the Phillies' success so far this year. 3 games up in the National League East and among the league leaders in extra base hits, home runs, RBIs on the 15-day DL. And as we start the bottom of the fourth inning, Pedro Feliz, who grounded out his first time up, will bat against Rich Hill.
Well, it's no secret what Rich is trying to do, and that is to make the players hit that breaking ball. He's been throwing loads of curveballs.
Feliz swings at the fastball and pops it up, but Melvin Mora makes the call to the left of the mound, and just a couple pitches and there's one out.
Now you got to stay on one pitch or the other, either that fastball or you stay on that breaking ball up to 2 strikes. Once you get to 2 strikes, you don't want to guess. I think Ryan Howard was guessing breaking ball, got a fastball right down the middle.
John Mayberry struck out looking at his last time up.
You got Mayberry on a curveball. Curveball has to be high for the left-hander, has to start at you to be a strike, and you want the ball up in the zone.
That one's hit sharply. That's a base hit rolling down the left field line. It's going to shoot off the half wall, and Mayberry, who runs well, is going to pull it to second base easily with his second major league double. Boy, he can fly, can he?
Oh, good athlete. You see him flying around those bases. Fastball in as he actually turned on this ball there. He's a good fastball hitter as it goes right down the line past third baseman Moore.
Now the bottom of the order, they're looking for them to come through here. Carlos Ruiz singled his first time up. 3rd hit in this on this homestand. Phillies have 4 base hits so far in this game. And it's 1-0 to Ruiz.
Rich Hill has 3 pitches: curveball, changeup, fastball. Average fastball, 88, 89. Trying to spot the ball.
I'm always impressed, Sarge, when guys like Hill, I mean, he just threw a changeup there, but he has such break on that curveball, and I'm always amazed at how one pitcher can do it better than another pitcher.
All depends on the grip of the ball and the way they actually release it.
Aubrey Huff will give this a look, and it's out of play.
Don Sutton used to throw a curveball, 12-6, good curveball. And Bert Hooton would throw a knuckle curveball. It would actually dance and break as if it was a curveball, and it was, but only knuckling, taking away a lot of the spin on the ball.
How about left-handed pitchers?
Well, the ball's coming into you for the left-handers on the right side, so it shouldn't really affect you, especially the one that's really slow.
Line drive towards center field. Adam Jones was playing him perfectly. And he grabs that one into the air. Mayberry back to second. If you're traveling and can't watch your Phillies on TV, you can always catch the game on your computer with MLB.tv. The ultimate baseball experience featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer, and catch those you missed on demand. For more details, visit Phillies.com, where baseball is always on. Bastardo bunted one in the air that was caught by Aubrey Huff. His first time up.
Bunting's one of those things that you can learn how to do. You got to just take a lot of pride in it when you're doing it. A little tardy.
A little bit.
He does not hit very often. That's why when you're in that batter's box, you got to look out. Those guys that swing late could lose your teeth.
Reader's going out to the mound. Yeah, if you're Jimmy Rollins right now in that on-deck circle, since he's a right-hander up, you got to be on your toes. If you're Shane Victorino and you're on the stairs because he's in the hole, you also have to stay on your toes.
Yeah, well, he swings so late, and when it comes off the bat, you don't have time to move. Well, you're not going to be able to see it and then dodge it. That's for sure.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Yankees now lead the Marlins 5-1. Melky Cabrera solo home run. Andy Pettitte has an RBI double in that ball game. Yankees down in Florida for that interleague matchup. Bastardo down on strikes and the inning is over. Phil Strand, a runner in scoring position. We have played 4 here at Citizens Bank Park, and the Orioles lead it by 1. Sitting here at Citizens Bank Park, and Antonio Bastardo will face the bottom of the order. Robert Andino, Rich Hill, and then the top of the order. And he's retired 7 consecutive batters and has struck out 2 along the way. He got Andino to ground out to shortstop his first time up. The Orioles enter today's game 8-20 on the road. You know, they have the worst road record in the American League. And a push bunt by Andino, and Howard's got to hurry. He dives and he wins the dive to the bag area.
Boy, what a play by Ryan Howard. No way Bastardo could actually get over to first base. Ryan Howard showing you some athleticism as he dives and was able to get the runner right before he get him to the bag. Now this is a good bunt. Normally this is an automatic hit. You can see Ryan going over and didn't even think about going for the bag, was going for the dive the whole time. We got 2 dives. Good play.
It's a good point too, Sarge. He didn't worry about the bag. He just worried about sort of stopping Andino from even getting to the bag.
Yeah, made it a little bit easier though when he actually started to go into his dive. Been a little more difficult if he stays up and running the whole way.
Man, he has got a filthy uniform tonight. Chopper left side. Rollins has it. And he'll run it well. He's thrown out 2 away. Well, we talked to Rich Dubia between innings about Antonio Bastardo and the conversation the two had after the top of the second inning and what he told him.
No, not really. Just trying to remind him of the delivery key, really, as far as separating his hands so they can get that downward plane. The balls that they hit in the second inning were flat fastballs up in the middle of the zone, and then all of a sudden he was able to make the adjustment, and hopefully he can continue to carry this through the game because he's throwing the ball very well right now.
Rick, satisfied with some of the off-speed pitches that Bastardo's throwing?
Yeah, he's gotten some outs on some sliders to the left-handers and, of course, some very good changeups at times. So if he can continue to do that, he's got a chance to be very successful.
Dubes, it's interesting. He came out. He looked a little more aggressive in that first inning, too, compared to the last start against the Red Sox.
Well, I think he's starting to get in a comfort zone. You know, that was his first start in this ballpark. And, you know, for a young kid with 45,000 people going crazy and facing the Boston Red Sox who push you to throw strikes, that's a pretty tough assignment. But hopefully he's getting his feet on the ground and going to be that much better.
Well, he's retired 9 straight, so it looks like he's gotten his feet on the ground. That's a good point by Rich about the number of folks here. I mean, when you're pitching in Reading and Lehigh Valley, they draw exceptionally well, but you know, their crowds are obviously nowhere near the size of what he faces here at Citizens Bank Park. And it was pretty raucous here on Friday night against the Red Sox.
You have to be a special player to play on this type of atmosphere here in the Philly. Boston would be another club. Yankees, of course. And that's because fans expect for you to put on a good show, have your best show. They could care less whether it's 1 year or 10 years. And Mike Schmidt was here, and they would boo him unmercifully. They'd boo him before he get pine tar on his back if things weren't going right.
Pop up right side. It's a good sign. A lot of pop ups to the right side. Utley is called off by Worth, and the inning is over. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings for Antonio Bastardo. He's retired 10 straight. Orioles still lead it by 1. See that great giveaway. It's a Phillies Beach Towel featuring Jimmy Rollins, Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, and Chase Utley. And it's compliments of Verizon. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Reds are trailing right now against the White Sox 2-1 in the 4th inning of their ball game. And Dusty Baker's squad, Johnny V. Baker, his team is 3.5 games back in the National League Central. Brewers have a 1.5 lead. They've won 3 straight. Well, here it seems like Antonio Bastardo has figured out the Orioles offense. And now we'll see if the Phillies offense can figure out Rich Hill. Jimmy Rollins walked his last time up, flied out to center field in the first. And Matt Wieters off with the helmet and the mask. retires Jimmy on one pitch.
Yeah, he's probably wondering how he missed that pitch. That ball, fastball, 88. J-Ro, a fastball hitter. Didn't look like he tried to lift the ball, but usually when you do, that back shoulder is going to be dipping a little bit for you to hit that pop-up. Got to stay down and through on the ball.
Shane doubled and scored in the first inning for the Phillies. Shows butt and takes one inside. Sarge, the Phillies have struck out 4 times in this game, 72 times on this homestand. Now, Charlie always says that if you put the ball in play, good things will happen. I guess that's the biggest concern about all those strikeouts, is that it's 72 at bats that they could have easily put the ball in play, and maybe a run or two could score here or there.
Yeah, not only that too. You're right about that. If you take a look at Milt Thompson, I'm sure he's wondering what's going on there with that offense. They've been getting a lot of breaking balls. Oh, remember after the very first game there, and Cito Gaston went out to the mound. After that, they've been getting nothing but breaking balls. Now, when the scouts see this, they're going to relay that same message to the Baltimore staff, and guess what? More breaking balls.
Well, I know that's the case with Brian Howard, because he is seeing more breaking balls now than I can remember him seeing in a long time.
Well, and the way that you stop it is that you got to hit a couple of them. Once you do that, now you can get back to your plan. Hitters can dictate the pitches that they want to hit, and especially when they're able to work the count. Can't be afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
Victorino swinging with 2 strikes here, and he pops a foul.
You know, and as a hitter, you realize if a pitcher cannot throw the ball by you, you don't have to cheat. You can look at the ball longer.
Ball 4, and Victorino's aboard. 3rd walk issued by Hill on the game. And Hill at 74 pitches for this game. 45 strikes, 29 balls. Orioles as a staff, their starting staff, ERA of 5.54. Guess that's part of the reason why they're in last place in the East at 29 and 37.
It's unbelievable.
That's a high ERA even for the American League. On the road, the ERA is even higher. They're 14th, which is last in the American League, with an ERA of 6.18. 14th in wins, and as a staff, they give up nearly 7 runs per game on the road.
Wow. Well, maybe we have something to look forward to.
On the hands, Huff will make 1 play, and it's to first as Victorino goes up to second base. Well, here are the splits, Sarge, between home and road. Orioles are 21 wins at home. They've had a lot of home games. And look at the difference in batting average, runs scored, and even ERA.
Yeah, well, you like that. Look at that batting average there.
It's pretty good. 300 at home.
I'll say.
But just 229 on the road.
It's not going to get it done.
Ryan has walked and struck out. He takes a breaking ball low, 1-0. They don't even bother to throw at Shane Victorino. He's going to steal third. He's in standing. And that's his 12th stolen base of the year. He picked a good pitch. It was a breaking ball, so Wieters had no chance.
Well, he got an excellent jump. As you look at Mora, nobody even moved. He knew he couldn't get over to third base. Puts pressure on the pitcher to make sure he gets that breaking ball up. As Howard comes off of it. Breaking ball. You can see he's out in front of that. You know, that ball there, you want to really try and stay hard up the middle and the other way if you can. I mean, he's almost just telling them, hey, here it comes. Comes a breaking ball, and then just when he gets where, okay, I'm sitting on the breaking ball, bam, there goes that little 88 that he throws, which froze him his last time out.
Another breaking ball hit in the air, deep down the right field line. It's hooking foul. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You get one of those balls where you hit him fair, he'll cut that breaking ball stuff out. But usually a pitcher, you got to prove to him that you can hit a certain pitch before you stop getting a steady diet of it. Again, we want that ball to be up, and it was, but that more inside, more to his liking.
He was out in front again, but he got a piece of it this time.
Yeah, he tried to drop down on him, get a little tricky there. Rich Hill did. Hitters, major league hitters, when you're looking breaking ball, very difficult to catch up to the fastball.
There is the fastball way outside, 3-2. I guess he'll just throw the breaking ball here because he has a base open.
Well, you still got to go on and just, I mean, you stay hard. You're not slow feet. The breaking ball you want up and almost to start right at you.
There is the breaking ball, slow roller right side. Howard hustling, Roberts hurrying, and they get Ryan Howard, and the inning is over. So the Phillies trying to runner in scoring position for the 2nd straight inning. We have completed 5 here in Philadelphia. And he is on pace to break his own single season mark. Worth's Power Performance is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. And Jason, with 12 home runs so far this year, 36 RBIs coming into tonight's ball game. Attack on the additional 2 he got in the first inning. So 38 runs batted in for Jason Worth, our Independence Blue Cross Philly of the Week. Sounds of Philadelphia celebration going on here at the ballpark tonight. Fanatic put on a little extra show in between innings. And now Antonio Bastardo will go to work in the top of the 6th inning. Facing Nick Markakis, Adam Jones, and Aubrey Huff. 2, 3, and 4 for the Orioles. He's gotten Markakis looking on strikes, and he's gotten him to ground out to second base. In fact, he's handled the top 4 hitters in this lineup so far.
Gets to be a little bit more focused. Whatever Rich Doobie has said, it seems to have been working. He's been able to throw low strikes. Getting ready to throw a slider right now.
And a pretty good one, too, and the count remains 0-2.
Yeah, that's the pitch Rich was actually talking about it, saying that he's thrown some good sliders to the left-handers. And a good pitch here. Up and in, getting him off the plate, don't hit him, and then be able to come back with that slide piece. Be less aggressive to go out on the outside corner as he's asking for a fastball away.
And he got it up there at 92 miles an hour. See the pitch count for Bastardo. Boy, I'll tell you what. 5th inning was good. 4th inning was good. 3rd inning was good. Just take away that 2nd inning. I know you can't, but he has really been sharp tonight.
I like that. Just give him something a little bit different to think about.
Oh boy, that's a pretty good pitch.
That's a real good pitch. Surprised that ball there wasn't a strike. Let's just see the location of this ball. Maybe a little out.
Well, it's 3-2 now to Markakis. As he's battled back after being down, no balls at 2 strikes with Adam Jones waiting on deck.
This is when it becomes almost predictable that he's going to throw you a fastball. See that he buried that slider 2-2.
Feliz over toward the railing. And he's going to run out of room. That's a couple rows back. Fought it off again. So it remains 3-2. That fastball get at 92 miles an hour. Sarge Markakis is one of those guys that, you know, folks say if you're a good player, scouts will find you. He went to Young Harris College in Georgia, a 2-year school. I had never heard of that school until Markakis was drafted in the 1st round by the Orioles.
At a junior college then.
Yep. And he's got a base hit, a liner to right field. Worth is over quickly, and he'll hold Markakis to a single. And the Orioles have the leadoff batter on here in the top of the 6th inning. Well, the fanatic between innings was serenading his girlfriend. It's the sounds of Philadelphia celebration here at the ballpark. And he is as smooth as it gets, isn't he?
Me and Mrs. Jones.
Yeah.
I gotta like that leap there. Something you may not want to do. Fans always get a kick out of that. And it's a big kiss right toward the end.
Well, the sounds of Philadelphia celebration going on tonight at the ballpark. Some pregame concerts that went on as Jones pops the pitch up behind home plate. In fact, the 2009 Phillies Gamble and Huff Community Partnership Award was presented to the Delphonics and Soul Survivors. Both groups got a chance to perform before the ball game today. Pretty good singing going on down there, Sarge.
Yeah, a little bit older, a little difficult to hit the high notes these days, but still can understand the words.
There's a strike at the knees. It's 0-2. Now, you were down on the field with them today, weren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, you can always tell though on those high notes because they take the mic away a little bit, and kind of look to the crowd. You know,
want the crowd to finish it.
Oh, they're playing to the crowd. Yeah. Well, put the mic there for the crowd.
Jones, who has popped out and struck out tonight, remains at no balls at 2 strikes. Foul tip right into the glove of Ruiz, and Jones is down on strikes for the second time tonight. And that is the third strikeout overall for Bastardo. You got Jones to do a little fishing there.
Yeah, that better job of getting the ball down. This was a slider there out of the zone that Ruiz able to hold on to that foul tip.
So the youngster is 0 for 3. Aubrey Huff, the veteran, stands in with one away. He takes one down and away. It's 1-0. That was the fourth strikeout of the night for Bastardo.
Well, that's a live enough fastball at 92. That's enough. The thing that makes it better is when you're able to get your changeup over, or that breaking ball makes that fastball that much faster. And you give the hitters something else to look at. They feel you can't get a pitch over, the breaking ball over, they'll just sit on your fastball. That's the one pitch that pitchers should be able to get over the majority of the time.
Was it his first outing against the Padres? He threw 88 fastballs in that outing.
Just about. A lot of fastballs. You can get away with it too, though. And Park's a little bit bigger.
There's a fastball that just misses, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, he's had two pitches that just missed on the outside part of the plate. Well, normally, as veteran pitchers would go in this particular count, that's the way Toronto did. They end up throwing breaking balls when they were behind in the count. 2 balls, no strikes.
Aubrey Huff didn't think that was a strike. It's 2-1.
Yeah, he thought it might have been a little low.
You just said that was a bad pitch, wasn't it? Aubrey Huff last year, as Sam Holbrook is hearing it from the Orioles dugout. Aubrey Huff last year was voted the best designated hitter in the American League. And he was presented with the Edgar Martinez Award. And it's 2-2. Edgar Martinez was the longtime DH for the Seattle Mariners. And it was a heck of a comeback year for Aubrey Huff. It was in the final year of his contract this season, and is rumored to be going to a handful of different places, particularly since the Orioles are in last place in the division.
Andy McPhail is good about that, who is the president of the Baltimore Orioles.
Huff sends one to the air to left field. It's deep. Mayberry going back to the warning track to the wall. He jumps and it's off his glove. Markakis heading to third. He's being waved home by Samuel. Jimmy Rollins has it. His throw to the plate on one hop, not in time. And Markakis slides in safely.
You see Samuel in your picture getting really aggressive. Easy to do that, though, when you have a lead, even though it's 1 run. You can see now Mayberry back looking for the wall. Had time to get back a little bit more. That ball should be caught, no doubt about it in my mind. Kind of turned the wrong way. But I say that because that ball wasn't high over his head. It was more on the side. And again, when you miss those balls, you can see easy to be able to get in there. It was bang bang, but safe all the way.
So Markakis scores his 44th run scored of the season. It's now 4-2 Baltimore, and I guess that's all part of being familiar with this ballpark, Sarge. And Mayberry not really used to this park, obviously, not to make excuses for him, but he was still trying to find his way on that wall.
And not only that, though, when the ball is actually hit here in left field, he's probably more used to playing right field anyway as opposed to left field. They're different fields, and the ball goes different ways. Off the left-hander, the ball is going to kind of go more toward the foul pole, if you will. And you can see that ball was high, spinning away. But if you get back to the wall quick, now you're able to make the adjustment wherever the ball is. And I think he was able to catch it. He was just feeling for the wall and not seeing it, and then off balance. You see now Markakis is watching. Now he takes off after he sees he's off balance. Samuel, third base coach, sending him all the way. Doesn't lose stride as he slides in safely.
And now it's 2 balls and no strikes to Melvin Mora. double by Huff is 16th of the year.
Just a difficult league to pitch in if you only have a fastball, and that being your main pitch.
And his location for his fastball, when they're, I don't want to say not expecting it, but when they're letting it go by, his location's been okay. But when they're waiting for it, it seems like it's a very good spot.
When they're swinging, it's
right.
almost right down the middle.
Yeah.
Right. When they take it, it's been on the outside part of the plate.
There's a pop up to left field. John Mayberry there waiting, puts it away, second out of the inning.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. If he gets all the way back to the wall, where he almost doesn't have to field it, he can get back on that because the ball's so high. That's what I'm saying. The ball, the left-handed hitter, is going to spin back toward the left side or toward the pole. And when you played out there enough, you know that that ball's going to do just that.
And if he went back all the way,
oh, he can make the adjustment.
And he might not even have to jump.
Well, he's tall enough and maybe not. But,
yeah.
You know, when you reach it back, you don't feel the wall. Now the first instinct is that, hey, I got to get up in the air.
Reinbold doubled and scored his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him here in the top of the 6th inning.
That's a good fastball, down and away, right by the knees. That one there, 90, but again, you're throwing 90, 92. That's good enough arm. That fastball is good enough.
There's that slider which tails inside, and it's 2-1.
Good pitch for a slider, maybe back foot if he can do it. Don't know if that's his changeup sign or not.
Pull towards shortstop. J-Roll on the edge of the outfield grass. And the inning is over. Now the Orioles did score a run in the inning on 2 base hits. The RBI double by Aubrey Huff. But as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, John Mayberry will bat 3rd for the Phils. Cold ice mochas, lattes, and cappuccinos. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By WB Mason, who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by Acura. Acura, advance. Phillies trail it by 2 here at Citizens Bank Park. Another sold-out crowd, the 26th sellout of the year. And now, as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, they'll try to generate a little offense against Rich Hill, who allowed 2 runs in the first on a 2-run double by Jason Worth.
Well, this game is still manageable, though. They can come back off of Rich to be able to score runs.
Well, he has mixed it up pretty good tonight with a fastball that's not blazing. 86, 87, 88.
You're right.
But with a good curveball. The other thing, too, Sarge, is his changeup has been pretty good tonight.
Yeah, he's throwing more fastballs, though, up in the zone. Guys need to try and make him get the fastball down a little bit.
And it is gorgeous here tonight. That sky was just beautiful over left field and all the way around. And gosh, let's hope the rain is done with, Sarge.
Well, you got to ask that Jim Jackson on the rain. I mean, he's a weatherman, wannabe. Been wrong the last 2 days, though. He was talking maybe that we weren't going to play it. He wasn't going to have a chance to play. You know, he has his computer tracking the storm. And obviously, he is one of the ones that wasn't tracking it right.
In the air to right field, it's deep. Markakis going back to the warning track to the wall, has room, and he makes the catch. The ball sounded pretty good off the bat, opposite way, and Markakis, who didn't play the ball that well that Worth hit in his first at bat, plays that one very well.
Yeah. Now, the first ball was a line drive. This more of a fly ball type. You can see a little bit of hesitation there with Worth after looking fastball and adjusting on the breaking ball. Pretty much an easy play because the ball is so high.
Here's Pedro Feliz, who's 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also popped out to third. So he's trying to get back on track here at home. It's been a stunning turn of events for them here at Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, I'll say.
13 and 19, and despite the win-loss record, that youngster's pretty happy about what just happened there. He got a nice souvenir. Look at that smile. And there are the splits. Batting average 20 points lower. ERA more than a run higher. And thank goodness the Phillies play so well on the road, at least this year.
Yeah, and the thing too, though, they still would be and playing this way, winning more games, providing they were playing better defense. That's one of the things that they've always been good at, and that's the defense.
Pedro Feliz hits it in the air to left field. Reimold is there. And he just got out in front of that one. And Rich Hill now has 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, Rich Hill working fast on the mound a lot of times too. You want to step out on those guys just to mix up their rhythm a little bit. He's in a groove right now, and you want to get him out of his groove. Well, step out on him every now and then, kind of get him a little bit irritated. But he's been working pretty rapidly and making pretty good pitches. You see how that curveball just coming into the right-handed hitter.
Line drive toward the gap in left center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. John Mayberry has 2 hits tonight.
That's good hitting right there. Got a curveball that was up. At least he looked like he was trying to go the other way. Good hitting.
Finish the Phillies game with Greg Murphy and former pitcher Ricky Bottalico's extensive game breakdown, plus player reactions with Marshall Harris on Sloan Toyota Presents Phillies post game live after the game only on Comcast Sportsnet. You can go to different points of this ballpark and see different sights, not only what's going on here on the playing field, what's going on in Ashburn Alley, and I would think up there you have a pretty good idea of the view on Center City as well.
Oh, it's just a great looking skyline from the ballpark standpoint here. See the buildings.
Carlos Ruiz is 1 for 2. He has singled and he's also flied out to center field. The count 0-1.
Almost surprised too they're not running on Rich Hill. Doesn't have a very good move at all. Had him in Chicago with the Cubs there. He was one of the starters. Supposed to be one of the better pitchers there for the Cubs. One of the better prospects, but wasn't to be. But even in the minor leagues, the kid's always had a decent curveball. That's why he got up to the major leagues. It's because of that curveball. Ruiz stepping out on him.
You just talked about that, about maybe stepping out and just breaking up his rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, you want to break up his rhythm there because he is in one.
That's a looper toward left field. Reimold coming on, and it's going to hang up there for him. And the inning is over. The Phillies strand one. This one not in scoring position, though. Mayberry stranded at first. We have played 6 here at Philadelphia, and the O's lead it by 2.
We thought this game might be a run scoring affair here tonight. Started out that way with 5 runs in the first 2 innings. It's really settled down since then. Both pitchers have done a good job. Jason Worth knocking the Phillies runs in the first inning. Matt Wieters, a young catcher, a 2-run double. And Hill's pitched really well. Phillies keep fouling balls down that third baseline. He's really had them out front tonight and fooled a lot of the right-handed hitters, Tom.
Well, and as you said, Wheels, Antonio Bastardo, despite the fact he's allowed 4 runs, he has pitched well in this ball game.
And they need 1 more inning out of him here, so they'll hit for him, and at least they could get 7 out of a start.
Bottom third of the order due up, and he's fallen behind 2-0. Only one other time during this homestand the Phillies get 7 innings from their starting pitcher was Joe Blanton last Friday.
Well, they're going to get, looks like Tashner up in the bullpen. Jack Tashner, left-hander, just in case, but they really would like to get him through this inning. He's approaching 100 pitches.
3-1 the count. There is Jack with Bill Meyer, the bullpen coach, in front of him. Good pitch there, and Jason Worth is going to take care of Matt Wieters. First down here in this inning. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. I saw those two youngsters before the ball game today. We're down on the field, enjoying batting practice, getting some autographs.
They've had a big night.
They sure have. Had a couple baseballs in their hand. Now they've got a prize pack and T-shirt from Citizens Bank. One out here in the top of the 7th inning. Robert Andino has grounded out twice. Second time was a bunt up the first base line that Ryan Howard took care of.
And that was a good play on both their parts. Andino trying to push a bunt first base side and get it to the right of Howard, where the pitcher Bastardo couldn't get to it. And Ryan made a good play catching it and then diving for the runner coming by the bat.
Andino checked his swing, but he went around enough for Sam Holbrook to ring him up for the second strike. 1-2 the count. Pretty good distribution of bouts there by Bastardo.
Trying to hold up, not quite.
Line drive, one hopper. Oh boy, Jimmy Rollins taken out into the outfield grass, throws it across the diamond, and Andino's retired for the second out. Hit that ball hard.
Yeah, that was that's one. All you can do is what Jimmy did, is take it off to the side like that and hope you glove it. Here it is. It's a bullet. You can't catch it in the air, and then it's a short hop. Glove it. And a strong throw. He got him. Here's a nice play. You see how deep he's playing, because there's two out, there's one out, nobody on base. That's the difference in when you cheat for a double play or whether you can do that. You cheat for a double play, those balls get through.
Dave Tremblay is hoping for another inning out of Rich Hill as he bats here with 2 outs at the top of the 7th, and he tries to bunt one up the first base line. Foul ball.
Hey, he's really done a good job tonight pitching and also with the bat. A former National League pitcher got a base hit, knocked in a run. And then last time up, he hit that ball and he almost beat it out, really hustling down the line. And now he tries to bunt his way on. So the Orioles not necessarily in a disadvantage here tonight with a pitcher who does have a clue what he's doing up there.
Well, their DH spot, Luke Scott is their normal DH. They have the best numbers for a DH in the American League. They lead in average and home runs. And Dave Tremblay echoed basically the same comments that Cito Caston of the Blue Jays echoed this week, that he hates going to a National League city.
Lose Luke Scott, former Astro.
And Hill is down on strikes, and Bastardo is through 7 innings. He retires the side in order here at the top of the 7th inning. He's retired 5 straight. His night is most likely done as we go to the bottom of the 7th. to reach double figures in doubles, triples, home runs, and stolen bases in each of his first 4 major league seasons.
That would be Juan Samuel.
Oh boy, you said that one pretty quick.
Yeah,
I guess you knew that one, huh?
Yeah, we used to count them for Sammy. They say, hey, come on, you need another triple. Let's go.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing. Dodge stumped the fans. And there is Sammy. And here's between innings between Rich Dubé and Antonio Bastardo. Rich gives him a nice firm handshake. Antonio doesn't think he did a good enough job tonight because he allowed 4 runs.
Well, yeah, you know, there were some plays tonight that aren't errors that maybe could have been made that would have saved a few more runs. So, hey, he did a good job rallying after he gave up the 3 runs in the second inning. He didn't walk anybody, hit one batter, which hurt him a little bit, and had 5 punch-outs.
So Eric Bruntlett will pitch hit for him here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Phil's in need of some base runners, trailing it by 2. It's 4-2 here in the home 7th.
They are warming Jim Johnson up in the bullpen, a hard-throwing right-hander.
Rich Hill is over 100 pitches tonight. And it's 0-2 now to Bruntlett. There is Johnson loosening up above the Phillies bullpen. Phillies had Jack Taschner up a few moments ago, and there's the conversation. Rich Dubé is still talking to Antonio Bastardo. He had good location on his fastball tonight. For the most part, the only time he really didn't is Bruntlett goes down swinging. The only time he really didn't was the inning he gave up the 3 runs. And speaking about good location, Rich Hill has had real good location tonight.
Well, he really settled down too after they looked like they were going to get after him tonight. Mentioned all these foul balls down the third baseline. Here he strikes him out on a pitch away. It was that curveball that he can't get to. They have been so far out in front, a lot of these right-handed hitters, and they've been hooking a lot of balls down the left field line, and that just means he's been changing speeds and fooling them.
Well, Jimmy Rollins is headed back to the on-deck circle because Dave Tremblay is heading out to the mound. Wheels, I'm a little surprised by this, but Dave Tremblay knows how far Rich Hill can go. He's out to the mound. I'm not sure if he's going to take him out of the game or not. He does have Jim Johnson out in the bullpen loosening up. He's ready to come in. He hasn't signaled to the pen. Bullpen door is open. He's going to keep him in. Major League Baseball and People Magazine are recognizing individuals who have made a difference in our community. Go to peopleallstars.com and vote for your favorite everyday all-star who will represent the Phillies with the chance to be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis, July 14th on Fox. Rich Hill was not even going to show him the baseball.
No, you could tell he did not want to come out of the game, and maybe Wieters helped too, but they talked the manager into it, or at least assured him that he could continue. Tying run is not at the plate either. Tying runs at the plate, maybe he makes a change.
So if Rollins gets on, maybe?
Possibly.
He's ahead 1-2.
You're still set up more for a left-hander to keep going, but you know, if it's a left-hander they don't think can continue in Hill's case, and they would make a change.
Well, they have a few left-handers in their bullpen too.
Yeah, they have 3 of them.
Jimmy pulls it softly to shortstop, and he's retired. 0 for 3.
Another curveball and got him way out in front. You can see him hit that tapper to short.
Phillies are looking for something here to jumpstart this offense.
Well, you know, Hill didn't look like he was going to be able to do this tonight, but he has really mixed them up, and he's changed speeds well enough that he has really had them off balance all night. A lot of fly balls, some deep fly balls for outs. Victorino's a guy that's been hammering balls down the third baseline. Kept one fair in the first inning for a double.
Seems like we said that yesterday with Brad Mills, the Blue Jays.
When things aren't going right, you can make a lot of guys look good.
Yeah.
That's not to take anything away from Hill pitching well here tonight. You see, you know, the constant battle going on for Jimmy this year, trying to figure it out.
Ball 4, Victorino's aboard.
He's had some good at bats tonight.
He's been on base 3 times, 2 walks and a double. Fanatic doing a little walking as well.
That's it.
Here comes Dave Tremblay.
It's interesting too. He's going to, even though he has really handled Utley tonight too. Chase hasn't hit the ball hard off him at all, but he just figures 111 pitches. Utley's a tying run. He's going to go to this right-hander.
So Jim Johnson, the hard-throwing right-hander, is the new pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. We'll tell you about him when we return. It's time to bring you up to speed with the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Jim Johnson, 29th game, 3-3.
Pretty good numbers against left-handed hitters. 170. Another reason, guess why he's not afraid to bring him into the ball game to face Chase Utley, a left-handed batter with those kind of numbers. He has a 93-96 fastball, curveball, and changeup.
So he must bury the pitches to left-handed hitters.
Just have a decent changeup.
Victorino's on first, and it's 1-0 to Chase, who is 0 for 3.
Say everything about him, Tom, was on a real downward plane, and you could see by that delivery of his, it's kind of a short arm type of delivery, but it's right over the top, and he really gets the ball down, at least on that first pitch, and that's evidently the way he'll come after hitters. Looks a little bit like Chris Young, the way he hooks the ball a little bit. Chris Young of the Padres, who unfortunately just went on the DL again.
I saw that, yeah. See what Chase has done since the 16th of May against right-handed pitching. It all goes along with the fact that his batting average is up over 300, 15 homers, 44 RBIs. And he pulls this one off the glove of Aubrey Huff. Roberts is quickly there, and they get Utley at first base. 3-4-3 on the putout. And the inning is over. So the Phillies strand one. Johnson faces just one batter. We've played 7. Orioles are still solving the BS.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And buy your local Chevy dealers. Beautiful night in Philadelphia. And we mentioned before, some sad news earlier today. Gary Papa passed away at the age of 54. And well, two good guys have left us in the year 2009. Of course, Harry passing away earlier this season. That was the last time I saw Gary in person, was during the memorial service. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Gary's wife Kathleen and his two boys, Nate and Tucker. And 28 years at WPVI, 6 ABC. And
well, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Gary did a great job.
The thing that everybody talked about today here at this ballpark was just how upbeat he always was, and even during this illness.
Never changed.
First diagnosed in April of 2004 with prostate cancer. And this Sunday, which is Father's Day, Major League Baseball and the players around the league will try to continue to help raise funds to fight that dreaded disease. As Brian Roberts is retired with one out here in the top of the 8th inning. You see players wearing the wristbands, the blue wristbands and the blue bands and the blue eye shade as well. It's stuff that's usually the eye black will be blue this weekend. And the home run challenge has been going on since June 11th to help raise funds for prostate cancer research. Here's Nick Markakis with one out, and the count, no balls and one strike to Markakis.
Nobody up in the Baltimore Orioles bullpen, so it would appear they're going to stay with Johnson.
And George Sherrill is their closer, and he's been pitching well for the Orioles.
Left-hander.
Jack Tashner, who has gotten one out already here in the 8th in relief of Antonio Bastardo. As the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bastardo went the first 7, allowed 4 runs on 5 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Good pitch there, and it's 1-2. See the numbers on Jack, 19th game. (17 walks in 23 2/3 innings. Antonio Bastardo allowed the 4 runs over 7 innings, but we've talked about this before. It's just the second time this homestand that the Phillies starter has gone 7 innings in a game. Gives a little bit of a reprieve to the bullpen, but now with the Orioles leading it by 2, the pressure's on the bullpen again to keep it at a 2-run deficit. With 6 outs to go, Markakis draws the walk. 6 outs to go offensively, and that's the first walk issued by Phillies pitching in tonight's game. This game will encore tonight at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and tomorrow at 1 p.m. on the Comcast Network.
Bastardo had 108 pitches tonight, and 20 of them were foul balls, and Hill 111 and 21. That's something always, now that pitch counts, are so prevalent in the game. A lot of times foul balls factor into it.
It does seem, though, that pitch counts are creeping downward instead of, staying at, let's say, 120 on average for a starting pitcher, doesn't it?
Well, sometimes, but it doesn't seem like they go as long.
Yeah.
It gets up to the point where they're out in 6 innings so often.
Well, and it's not, it's not always the pitchers too. I mean, it's just the way baseball is going these days.
Yeah. Why bullpens are so important, and you don't want to try to overuse them. And unfortunately, that's what's happened around here a little bit this year.
There's a pop up right side. Ryan Howard trying to get under it, finding it, and he can't get it.
Yeah, they're going to drift back usually when they go down that way. The first baseline, they start coming back a little bit, and he overran it.
They're going to score that a no play. So the count 0-2 to Adam Jones.
You see, Ryan Howard has to gauge it, and then the ball will normally drift back towards you going down that line. And right there, you see it drifted back, but he had overrun it. He had overrun it at that point. Can't get there even with his long arms.
So a little life for Adam Jones, who was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And he pulls it over the glove of Jimmy Rollins, a base hit. First hit of the night for Jones.
It's one of those little things again.
It's just the way it's going.
Yeah, whether it hurts you or not, we'll find out. But as we mentioned, there have been runs out there that have scored tonight because of plays that weren't made that are not scored as errors.
Right, the ball to John Mayberry out in left field that he missed.
And maybe if Chase catches that ball at second, which I'm sure he thought he should on that double, they only get 1 instead of 3.
Right, that was in the second inning. Yep. Ramos.
There it is, just over Jimmy's glove. Of course, he's cheating in a little bit with a runner at first base and not able to get to him. If he's back where he was last inning with nobody on base, he catches that.
Aubrey Huff got the double his last time up, and that ball that was misplayed by John Mayberry in left field, that drove in a run. Adam Jones on first base, Markakis on second. Pulled toward first. Nice play by Ryan. One play and one play only. And he gets the second out of the inning. Stayed down very nicely on that ball that never really took a big hop. Runners move up to second and third.
And no right-hander up in the bullpen. They're going to stay with Tashner in this inning, and that's just another indication of how many guys really aren't available.
Well, and speaking of right-handers from the bullpen, Brad Lidge today came in to the clubhouse. I saw him in the dugout as he was coming down the stairs, and you see the Phillies bullpen. Everybody with their jackets on. Chan-Ho Park is going lefty instead of righty. Stealing J.C. Romero's glove. Brad said he felt great today.
Yeah, he's going to start a game in Reading tomorrow night, huh?
And it's a good sign. He threw yesterday, and the hope was if he did feel great today, that he would get that rehab assignment. And he is.
Yeah, if everything goes all right, he'll be going to St. Pete on Monday night with the ball club. He's eligible to can be activated Tuesday.
How about the Reading Phillies fans? Kyle Drabeck starting tonight. I'm not sure what Kyle did tonight. And Brad Lidge starting tomorrow.
Well, Williamsport's winning their first game of the season at State College, 10-2.
Reading's winning 4-0 in the 9th inning. And won the count to Melvin Moore.
Well, that could mean that Drabeck pitched well.
Moore was hit by a pitch his first time up. Has flied out the last 2 times up. 1-1 the count. Chopper over the glove of Tashner. This is going to be a tough play. J-Roll trying. Goes to first in time to get Mora. And the inning is over. Oh, what a play by Jimmy Rollins to record the final out here in the top of the 8th inning. Jack Tashner strands 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Comcast Sportsnet at 5. Join Michael Barkett and special Phillies guests with reports from Citizens Bank Park on Daily News Live. Then at 6:30, Sports Night is showing you the festivities. It's always a great night. Phillies clubhouse stepping off the field live from the festival. Don't miss Phillies Festival fun Monday night starting at 5 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies Festival, which is amazing to think that it's 25th year. It's always a great event. Wheels is going to be doing every Roles a winner. I'll be there doing every Roles a winner.
That's fun.
Yep.
Because everybody's a winner.
I'll also be meandering around the ballpark doing some reports that'll be up on the video board. Big screen. High definition. 1-2 the count. But some of the items are unbelievable. I saw the Harley Davidson today that's signed by all the Phillies players.
Yeah, that thing's pretty neat. I saw that downstairs.
And that's going to be part of the live auction.
That's a nice piece of machinery.
2-2 the count.
That was a pretty good changeup he threw Ryan Howard. Pitch before that. So that I guess where you see these numbers against left-handed hitters that he's able to throw 96. That was 97 and drop that changeup in there.
A pop-up toward left field. Reimold makes the grab, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Time to take a look at our Firestone leaders. And Jason Worth with 10 interleague home runs. Last year and this year combined, he's tied with Adam Dunn for the interleague lead, Major League Baseball lead. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Jason, what's to say you break that tie right here? How about that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, he was swinging like he wanted to break that tie, and the count is 0-1.
Well, what they're doing right now, unfortunately, is getting the game set up for their closer. Who's a left-handed closer, and the Phillies have left-handed bats on the bench in Stairs and Dobbs.
Another pop-up.
So you really wanted to hope they could get something done in this inning.
Johnson was the 5th-round selection for the Orioles way back in 2001, and there's that bullpen for the O's. The bullpen has an ERA of 4.49. We mentioned Sherrill. I mean, he has been good ever since his manager challenged him. He has really thrown the baseball well for the Orioles as their closer. Toward the hole at shortstop. This could be a tough play. A little hop by Andino, and Jason Worth with the head-first slide, an infield single. Second hit of the night for Jason. And the only reason you slide there as a hitter is because you're expecting the throw might be in the baseline. Because he had that ball beat, even if it was a clean throw by Andino.
Right, and you get there quicker by running through the bag than you do by a head-first slide.
Andino got to that ball nicely, but just didn't have enough time or enough on that throw.
Right, and Jason Worth is a very fast runner from the right side. And, you know, that's where the first baseman was positioned there. You know, he probably should run through the bag. You can really get hurt going head first in the first.
Pedro's 0 for 3 tonight. He has popped out twice, grounded out once.
Here you go again. You see where the first baseman is. So you just run through the bag here. But hey, beat the play, and Jason Worth's on, and now you get the tying run up, and Jason continues to get his base hits.
They're not even really looking at him over at first base either. They count 1 ball and 1 strike.
No, they're more worried. They're going to guard the line with the third baseman more and play up the middle, and they're not really even in double play depth with a 2-run lead right now, as you see, especially the second baseman Roberts. Outfielders are deep on the corners, but not in center field. Jones must have a lot of confidence in his ability to go back, and they must also feel confident in it, because this is when you play a no doubles defense and the center fielder is not playing back.
Yeah, and just watching him go back at a few balls tonight, I mean, he is really comfortable. Look how shallow he is. He's in a normal spot.
Yeah, you see where the two corner guys are. They're deep.
2-1 the count. And it's 2-2. Dave Tremblay, long time minor league manager.
He a long time ago was part of our staff down in Dream Week when it was called Dream Week before fantasy camp. Dave was there a couple years.
Talked to a lot of folks with the Orioles, and you ask them about Dave Tremblay, and they say one of the more appreciative guys at what he has right now as a big league manager, just because he was in the minors for so long. Here are the major league managers who never played in the majors or minors. Carlos Tosca, who's the bench coach with Florida.
Look at this one. Ted
Turner. That's right. I went right past that one.
That's a good one.
Trey Hillman, who is an outstanding manager. He's the manager of the Royals.
Tom, that's another guy we had down those fantasy camps. Dream Week.
I met Trey when he was in the minor leagues with the Yankees organization.
So that's what he was working for.
He was sharp.
Nickname was Cowboy. With that cowboy hat, cowboy boots. Look out. It's kind of neat to see those guys are now major league managers after they were down there working with the, at that time called Dream Weekers.
It's all preparation, Wills.
Yeah. And Hurdle was there too. Those guys can say there are a lot of major league managers down there in those days.
Worth takes his lead off first base with one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phil's down by 2. Tying run at the plate, Pedro Feliz.
Pedro battling up there. This guy really throws hard.
Threw something off speed on that pitch. Curveball, and it remains 2-2.
He doesn't throw a slider, it appears. It appears that it's curveball, changeup, and a fastball on a real downward plane. Doesn't look like a guy's going to get hurt with a ball up in the strike zone a lot. What took him so long to get here?
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, he was banged up a little bit, but let's see if that one's going to stay in play. Wieters right across the on-deck circle, makes the grab as he goes down the stairs. And they're going to give Jason Worth second base because he fell out of play. That was a heck of a play. He'll take the out even though Worth gets second base.
He fell into the dugout.
Yep. Dave Joust and Juan Samuel were both there to try to stop him from falling, and he wound up going down the stair anyway. So you can't help somebody from not falling into the dugout, and it didn't matter. He still fell down a step anyway, and they stopped him from falling even farther. That's a great play. I mean, just because the bar was right there.
I'll be very interested to see how that is scored. How does he advance to second?
I think it's a fielder's choice.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know that it's an error. It's a good play by Sammy.
And Dave Joust, longtime minor league manager in his own right.
It was a hanging curveball, and Pedro kind of jumped at it and popped it up.
So they do score a fielder's choice. Runner on second base. And here's John Mayberry. He's got 2 hits tonight. John Mayberry came in hitting .286. His 2 hits have brought his average up to a cool .353.
Yeah, and you see the confidence in him that they're letting him hit, but we showed those numbers that this guy has against left-handed hitters.
One and one the count.
A couple guys standing around out in their bullpen. Now one's starting to throw. It's Sherrill. But he just started to throw, and he is their closer. I don't think they would bring him in, even if he brought a left-handed hitter off the bench right now.
Phillies have a couple pitchers loosening up as well, including Ryan Matson. The ball nearly hit Mayberry. It's 2-1. Matson and Durbin are the two right-handers. Phillies take the lead or tie it. It'll be Matson probably. If it's still 4-2, it'll be Durbin in the 9th inning. Or is it 4-3 for that matter? 2-2 the count. By the way, we mentioned Kyle Drabek before. He did pitch tonight. He went 8 innings, allowed 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts for the Reading Phillies.
He's progressing nicely.
He sure is. And they won that game 4-0. The only thing that would make that night even better for him is if he got a base hit or a home run or an RBI.
Ooh. Baby. Look at Joe Johnson's reaction.
Wow. Little cheese right there.
That's unhittable. You may as well just take that because you're not going to do anything with it except break a bat or pull it foul.
3-2 the count. Runner on second base. And he got him. Fastball at 95, and John Mayberry's down on strikes, and the inning is over. So Johnson strands a runner on second. Or Bradledge bobblehead. You can add 3 more games to your choosing. That's called a Grand Slam 4-pack. Customize it now by logging on to Phillies.com. Go to the top of the 9th inning, and Charlie Manuel is going to leave Jack Tashner in the game to face 6, 7, and 8 for the Orioles. Baltimore, as we mentioned, the worst record in the American League on the road, 8 wins and 20 losses. They average 3.8 runs per game while on the road, and they're at 4 runs in tonight's ball game.
Yeah, they've only given up 2, and they were in the first inning. Phillies have been shut down since their first at bat here tonight. They really haven't had that many scoring threats.
No, they're 1 for 8 with 8 runners left on base. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies are in tonight's game. But it's been a runner here, a runner there. I mean,
2 outs.
They haven't had 2 runners on base since the 2nd inning.
Right, and they've had 2 outs a lot of times in situations, you know, which that's the hardest hit to get is a 2-out hit.
In the air to left field, it's deep. Going back is Mayberry. That one is gone. And Reimold has a 2-hit night. It's his 8th home run of the year.
The ball jumps off that guy's bat. Man.
You understand why they're so optimistic about this team. And if they can get some pitching, well, who knows? It's a tough division, but still they can hit.
That's a fastball right down the middle, and he crushes it. They had a bowling green. Grew up in Western Pennsylvania. That's a deep long ball.
Well, here's Wieters. There's 1 for 3. Yeah, Charlie was saying today, I was asking him just how do you gauge when you have to push a little bit, pull back a little bit. He said, oh, players dictate that. He said, you just can't do it just to do it, though. You know, I know he said yesterday after the ball game that he might be heading toward getting angry.
I don't know if this is a game that steams you up or not.
Well, that's it.
One thing about managers,
I thought that was a fair ball.
yeah, it was close. One thing about managers is, you know, that's something the best clubhouse meetings are the ones that are not rehearsed. You know, you don't think about it all. You just kind of blow sky high and it's real, and that's the end of it.
Well, this is these are the numbers in the homestand. Now, 5 runs per game. That's pretty good. But their ERA is 6.41. You know, they're averaging more home runs per game than they were up until that point. But they just, they haven't been as crisp during this homestand as they were for the first part of the season.
Well, they're playing like they did last year.
Yeah, it's the pattern is right there. There were 3-11 during interleague games last year. Now they've won 3 games already this year, but this is a stretch of all interleague games that they're facing. Off the end of the bat, there's a pop up first base side. Ryan is over. He's got room, and he puts it away. Ryan was quoted yesterday as saying that he's done talking about why they're not playing well here at home. I mean, they're getting it a lot. They're getting a lot of questions about it. Charlie's getting a lot of questions about it. Charlie and I do his television show each week, and there's always an email about that on that show.
I guess.
And last week he was saying, I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, tonight was a perfect example. You could feel the crowd. They keep trying. The crowds have been great. That's one answer you give all the time. But they're behind in a lot of these games, and as a result, people are kind of sitting on their hands. There's not much to do. It's not like these fans don't want to get into these games, because they sure do. And they're great. Another sellout here tonight.
26th of the year. Now that school's out, they're going to get younger and younger as the days go on.
Oscar Salazar, right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck circle to bat for Johnson. There's a couple of young guys here tonight.
I say school is out. I know school is out in Jersey. And for the most part, I think it's out here in Pennsylvania, too. There is Salazar. Two and two the count. Called strike 3. Good pitch by Tashner. 2 away. And here is Oscar Salazar with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. That's what Salazar did this year with Norfolk. 372, 10 home runs, 43 RBIs. And this is his first at bat. And he takes it low, 1 ball and no strikes. This is the 43rd game in Oscar Salazar's major league career. And he pulls that one toward third. What a play by Pedro Feliz. He spins, throws, and he pulls Ryan Howard off the bag. It's going to be a base hit. And Pedro, boy, just to get to that ball was a heck of a play.
That was a tremendous play. And it throws just a little bit high. Salazar really ran well, too. See this guy play much, so you don't know how he can run, but Pedro did not. There's no wasted effort there, and Salazar busted down that line. There it is. Great stop. Now he wheels, fires, and just throws it high. And Salazar reads where Ryan Howard is and goes inside of it, which was a good idea for him.
Now the top of the order, Brian Roberts. He has been hitless tonight. Hitless in 4 at-bats.
Yeah, they've been able to handle Brian Roberts tonight. Still be behind by 3 runs. That's normally not the way you're going to beat or get beaten by Baltimore.
Ball hit his foot, and it's 2-1. Brian Roberts back in 2005 had 5 home runs in the first 11 games of the season.
This guy can run, but that'll slow you down.
Yeah, it will.
5 home runs. Huh? You don't think about him being a power hitter.
You think about what he did that year to start the season. 5 home runs in the first 11 games. And he had 15 home runs and 49 RBIs before the All-Star break.
Well, we haven't seen these guys in a while, but back when the Phillies did play Baltimore, he was playing for them, and he's always been a good-looking player.
Lines that one down the left field line, and it's hooking foul. He is the record for doubles by a switch hitter in baseball history. You see his career batting numbers. .284 lifetime hitter. 51 doubles is what he had last year. That was the record. He had set the record back a couple years ago with 50 doubles. And he reestablished it last season. And on the hands, he's going to have a base hit. A roller to right field. Salazar will stop at second base. That's just a little unlucky right there for Jack Tashner. Roberts had been 1 for his last 18 before that base hit.
Still in the save situation. They still have Sherrill up there that right now with a 3-run lead is a save.
Ortega's 1 for 3, walked his last time up, singled and scored back in the 6th inning against Bastardo, who went the first 7 innings tonight. He pitched well. I mean, he allowed 4 runs over those 7. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Part of this equation too is that the Phillies will wind down this homestand, this 9-game homestand this weekend with these 3 against the Orioles. Then they hit the road, and they go down to Tampa, take on the Rays for 3 beginning Tuesday, then up to Canada to take on the Blue Jays next weekend. And the Phillies statistically have played much better on the road, but those are 6 tough games.
And then they go to Atlanta for the first time this year with their good pitching staff, and a lot of travel too when you think about it. Down, up, back down again, kind of flying over Atlanta to go to Toronto.
Well, and Charlie talked today about the ebbs and flows of the season. He said, he knows that this has not been a good run right now for this club, but he learned a long time ago that In a 162 game schedule, there's going to be some speed bumps along the way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There'll be some valleys, and they're in one right now. And when you're not hitting, or you know, when you're not playing well, everything seems kind of dead.
Line drive to the gap in right center field. And that's going to score at least one. Roberts can fly. He's going to score all the way from first. Markakis will stop at second. It's now 7-2 Baltimore. And the O's have just opened this one up. And their fans are happy about it. And for Markakis, 2 hits in this ball game.
He's another doubles machine. And
that's the way it feels right there.
And it's going to send a lot of people to the aisles, right? And that was just a fastball in the middle of the plate, and bang.
How about Roberts flying around the base?
Oh,
he's fast,
especially after beating the ball off his foot.
Adam Jones 1 for 4. Here's the pitch to him. Hit foul toward the upper deck, and it's 0-1.
I wonder if they'll sit their closer down now with a 5-run lead.
Well, he's been throwing for so long. They may want to just keep him up and keep him in. You know?
Yeah. Or maybe they want him to work. You see, he keeps looking in there. Of course, he would wait for the phone to ring to see what they want him to do.
They got some guys out there that are throwing pretty well. Jim Johnson's one. Danny Baez is another one who's throwing well. 1-1 the count to Jones. That one's scorched foul. And it holds 1-2.
See, he told Dad, I don't want to leave after that double. I may get a foul ball.
These seats are too good.
Yeah, I don't want to go home.
Either I'm going to get one from the ball girl, or you're going to reach down and grab me one.
I'm not worried about traffic. I'll be asleep. You drive.
Hashner ahead now of Jones. Phillies have gotten him twice on strikes. And it's 2-2. To center field, Victorino's there. And the inning is finally over. But the Orioles tack on 3 more. As we go to the bottom of the 9th inning, last chance for the as the Orioles just tacked on 3 more runs in their half of the 9th inning, and the damage really was done early on when they wiped away a 2-run deficit against the Phillies. And George Sherrill will be the new pitcher. This is not a save situation. No wins, a loss, an ERA of 2.45. He does have 13 saves this season. 22 hits and 25 2/3 innings of work.
Left-handed hitters only hitting 100 against him. WB Mason delivery of the game is by the pitcher Rich Hill, former National League pitcher, so Rich Hill has an idea how to swing the bat. He had his 14th major league hit, and that concluded the 3-run inning. Phillies had put a 2 spot on the board. They came right back and scored 3, did the Orioles, and have led ever since. That's our WB Mason delivery of the game.
So now Carlos Ruiz, the batter. Carlos 1 for 3. He'll lead things off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. George Sherrill was part of that trade with the Seattle Mariners that brought in Adam Jones, a few other pitchers, for Eric Bedard. And whether he likes it or not, Bill Bavasi, the former general manager of the Seattle Mariners, he may have lost his job as the GM of Seattle because of this trade, because it has not gone well with Bedard.
He's hurt again.
And it's gone well for the Orioles, at least up to this point. Sherrill was an all-star last year, and Adam Jones, well, potentially could be an all-star with what we've seen so far. See all the appearances that Sherrill has made for this year.
Fastball, curveball, basically a 2-pitch pitcher, and showed those numbers. Very good against left-handed hitters. They're hitting just 100 against him.
A 1-hopper right to the shortstop. Andino. And Carlos is retired. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Chris Coast is going to pinch hit. See Chris's numbers: 253 on the year, 2 homers and 7 RBIs. Game 2 will be tomorrow night here at Citizens Bank Park. 7:05 start. Phillies will wrap up this series on Sunday. Off day on Monday. The ALS Festival taking place on Monday night. Brad Burgesson will pitch for the Orioles tomorrow. Jay Happ makes the start for the Phillies. And it's a pop-up. Right side. Aubrey Huff will give way to Brian Roberts. Huff really wasn't even close to that ball.
Well, we were kidding about that earlier, but when the ball's hit down that way, it's going to drift. It's going to go back the opposite direction like that, so it's a much easier play for the second baseman.
Tonight on Sports Night, Chester's Tyreek Evans was the nation's #1 recruit a year ago. Now the NBA beckons the Memphis freshman sensation. How high can Tyreek fly? We'll explore it on draft day. The local connection, plus updates from the U.S. Open. Highlights from this ball game. That's tonight on Sports Night, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Jimmy Rollins take it all the way, takes one outside. Jimmy 0 for 3. Walked back in the second. Popped up twice, grounded out. And it's 2-0. Got to go all the way back to 2004, the last time the Phillies started a homestand with a 1-6 record. They're 1-5 right now, trailing it by 5 in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Jimmy's aboard, so with 1 out, the Phillies have a base runner and a little life here at the bottom of the 9th inning. With 2 outs, I'm sorry. So 2 outs, runner on first. Here's Victorino. Shane has been on base 3 times. Double, 2 walks, a pop out. Jimmy goes. Pitch is popped up foul. That'll be back into the seats in the Diamond Club, and it's 0-2. Said Sherrill does not throw all that hard, and that changeup came in at 81. He still has good splits between his changeup and his fastball.
And he also evidently throws a decent curveball too.
Yep. Jimmy's off again. And the pitch is high. Wieters doesn't even bother to throw. Well, Jimmy's on second base. They'll score that defensive indifference. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Mets have added an insurance run in the bottom of the 8th inning on a Ryan Church RBI single, so they lead the Rays 5-3. The Rays had 2 runners on in the top of the 8th inning with 1 out and just couldn't score that tying run. Shane may have clipped Wieters. That's why he patted him on the arm. And that hit him. That's going to hurt. I think I may have hit him right in the hand, the right hand. And he's going to be aboard. 2 runners on with 2 outs here at the bottom of the 9th inning.
That ball just came boring right in on Victor. He just never got out of the way of it. Take a look at it. The fastball just keeps chasing him. Hit him on the forearm.
That's a stinger right there. 2 outs for Chase. And it's outside, ball 1. Chase has grounded out 3 times and he's popped out.
Well, those 3 runs in the top of the 9th inning.
Huge.
Keeping that tying run away from the plate for a long time.
And keeping that tying run. If it's still 4-2, that tying run will be on first base right now.
Now you don't know whether Sherrill will have a little more adrenaline too. It's hard to say. Those closers a lot of times when they come in these situations don't have the same juice.
Ball, 2 strikes the count to Chase. Two and two. That's a pretty good hook right there.
Yeah, on that they say is an out pitch for him, especially when you're holding left-handed hitters at 100. You probably have a pretty good breaking ball.
Well, the count is even 2-2. Phillies need to get Jason Worth to the plate to have a chance tonight. Call strike 3, and the Phillies lose it again. Chase down looking. Phillies strand 2. They stranded 10 in the ball game, and they now have begun this homestand with a 1-6 record. As the Orioles take game 1 of this 3-game series, it's only their 9th victory on the road. So they win it. Sherrill closes things out. And our Chevrolet player of the game was the starting pitcher for the Orioles, Rich Hill.
Did a good job. Gave up 2 runs in the first inning. That's all the Phillies would get here tonight. Fastball, curveball pitcher for the most part. Change up once in a while. But you'll see fastballs and curveballs from him. And he went 6 2/3 innings tonight. 5 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 3, struck out 5. He picks up the win. He's your Chevy player of the game.
So the Orioles